जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री हरिनाम कीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव
नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो
ततो
जयमुदीरये।
सुन्वतां स्वकथा
स्वकथा
कृष्णा
कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनः
हृदयन्तो
अस्तो
भद्राणि
भद्राणि विदुनोति
विनोति
श्रुताम्
शृण्वत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
अभद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं
भागवत सेवया भगवती
भगवती
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति
भगवती
नैष्टिकी।
नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्ण।
Happy Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi to everyone. So Today is very auspicious day, and usually devotees fast, do the Nirjala fasting. So, if possible, you can also do. So we are discussing Catur Sloki Bhagavatam, and we are continuing Catur Sloki Bhagavatam, 4th verse, 2.9.36. So today we'll continue same verse. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's read the verse. Etavat eva jigyasham
एतावत् एव जिज्ञासं
tattva jigyasunatmanaha
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
अन्वया व्यतिरेखाभ्यम
अन्वयाव्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
यत्स्यत् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा एतावद् एव जिज्ञासम्
एतावत् एव जिज्ञास्यम्
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
अन्वयाव्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
अन्वया व्यतिरेकाभ्यम
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
यत्स्यात्
सर्वत्र सर्वदा एतावद् एव जिज्ञासम्
एतावत् एव जिज्ञास्यम्
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
अन्वयाव्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
अन्वया व्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
सर्वदा
एतावद् एव जिज्ञासम्
एतावत् एव जिज्ञासम्
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः
व्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
अन्वयाव्यतिरेकाभ्याम्
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा
Translation and purport. Yes, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A person who is searching after the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Okay, purport. So yesterday we read up to okay, this part is done. Okay. Right from there, for anyone who would like to start from can anyone read?
I can read from it.
Okay.
So therefore, the devotional service of the Lord with perfect knowledge through the training of a bona fide spiritual master is advised for everyone, even if one happens not to be a human being. What does that mean? This is confirmed in the Garuda Purana as follows. Kita pakshi mraghanam cha harav sanyasta chetasam urdhvam eva gatim manye kim punarjan jnaninam nrinam. Even the worms, birds, and beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfectional life if they completely surrender to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So what to speak of the philosophers amongst human beings? Wow, what a statement. Therefore, there is no need to seek properly qualified candidates for discharging devotional service to the Lord. Let them be either well-behaved or ill-trained. Let them be either learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated souls or desirous of salvation. Let them be inexpert in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharging devotional service under the proper guidance. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 and 32 as follows. Api ched sundaracharo vajate mamananya bhak sadureva samantavya samyug vyavasito hisaha mam hipata vyapashritya yepi syu papayonayaha striyo vaishyastata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. Even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to be engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord under proper guidance, he is to be considered the most perfect holy man without a doubt. And thus, any person whatsoever and whosoever he or she may be, even the fallen woman, the less intelligent laborer, the dull mercantile man, or even a man lower than all these, can attain the highest perfection of life by going back home, back to Godhead, provided he or she takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in all earnestness. This sincere earnestness is the only qualification that can lead one to the highest perfectional stage of life. And unless and until such real earnestness is aroused, there is a difference between cleanliness or uncleanliness, learning or non-learning in the material estimation. Fire is always fire, and thus if someone touches the fire, knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will act in its own way without discrimination. The principle is Harir Harati Papani Tushta Chittair Api Smrataha. The all-powerful Lord can purify the devotee of all sinful reactions, just as the sun can sterilize all sorts of infections by its powerful rays. Attraction for material enjoyment cannot act upon a pure devotee of the Lord. There are hundreds and thousands of aphorisms in the revealed scriptures. Atma Ramascha Munayaha. Even the self-realized souls are also attracted by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Kechit Kevalya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayanaha. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Nachalati Bhagavat Padaravan Dal Lavani Mishardham Apisa Vaishnavagrayaha. A person who does not move from the lotus feet of the Lord, even for a moment or a second, is to be considered the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Bhagavat Parshadatam Prapte Mat Sevaya Pratamte. The pure devotees are convinced of attaining the association of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, in all continents, in all planets, in all universes, devotional service to the Lord or Bhakti Yoga is current. And that is current word. And that is the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam and allied scriptures. Everywhere means in every part of the creation of the Lord. The Lord can be served by all the senses or even simply by the mind. The South Indian Brahmana who served the Lord simply on the strength of his mind also factually realized the Lord. Success is guaranteed for a devotee who fully engages any one of his senses in the mode of devotional service. The Lord can be served by any ingredient, even the most common commodity, a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or a little water. which are available in any part of the universe and without cost. And thus the Lord is served universally by the universal entities. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by chanting or reading about his activities. He can be served simply by adoring him and accepting him. Should I stop here, Prabhu, or someone else wants to read?
Anyone would like to read a little more, few more paragraphs?
Which I can read.
Okay, go ahead.
Just give me one moment, bro. I'll just manage my screen. In the Bhagavad Gita, right? Okay.
Yeah.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one can serve the Lord by offering the result of one's own work. It does not matter what one does. Generally, men may say that whatever they are doing is inspired by God, but that is not all. One should actually work on behalf of God as a servant of God. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27, Yat karoshi yad asnashi yad juhosi dadashi yat tapasyashi kaunteya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Do whatever you like or whatever may be easier for you to do. Eat whatever you may eat. Sacrifice whatever you can sacrifice. Give whatever you may give in charity. And do whatever you may undertake in penance. But everything must be done for him only. If you do business or if you accept some employment, do so on behalf of the Lord. Whatever you may eat, you may offer the same to the Lord and be assured that he will return the food after eating it himself. He is a complete whole, and therefore whatever he may eat as offered by the devotee is accepted because of the devotee's love. But again, it is returned as prasad for the devotee, so that he can be happy by eating. In other words, be a servant of God and live peacefully in that consciousness, ultimately returning home back to Godhead. It is said in the Skanda Puran, Yashya Smritya Namoktya Tapo Yagya Kriyadishu Nunam Sampurnatam eti Sadhyo Vande Tam Achyutam. I offer my obeisances unto him, the infallible, because simply by either remembering him or vibrating his holy name, one can attain the perfection of all penances, sacrifices, or fruitive activities, and this process can be universally followed. It is enjoined, Bhagavatam 2.3.10, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purushang param. Though a person be full of desires or have no desires, he may follow this path of infallible bhakti yoga for complete perfection. One need not be anxious to propitiate each and every demigod and goddess because the root of all of them is the personality of Godhead. As by pouring water on the root of the tree, one serves and enlivens all the branches and leaves, so by rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, one automatically serves every god and goddess without extraneous effort. The Lord is all pervading, and therefore service unto him is also all pervading. This fact is corroborated in the Skanda Purana as follows. Arsite deva deveshe shankha chakra gadadhare arsita sarvadevashur yata sarvagato hari. When the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who carries in his hands a conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower, is worshipped, certainly all other demigods are worshipped automatically because Hari, the personality of Godhead, is all pervading. Therefore, in all cases, namely nominative, objective, causative, dative, ablative, possessive, and supportive, everyone is benefited by such transcendental loving service to the Lord. The man who worships the Lord himself who is worshipped, the cause for which the Lord is worshipped, the source of supply, the place where such worship is done, etc., everything is benefited by such an action. Even during the annihilation, should I stop, Prabhu?
Yeah, I think we can stop here. I can discuss them. If time permits,
Okay,
we'll
Prabhu.
continue. So we have still somewhere. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashulakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Satarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gauravaktananda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing Catur Sloki Bhagavatam, and entire purport, if you see, Prabhupada is emphasizing on bhakti. He's quoting from different Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, from everywhere, and he's concluding that the ultimate goal is attaining that love of God, through bhakti yoga. Bhakti is the topmost. And today's discussion started, bhakti process is applicable for everyone. It is not meant for only brahmanas or advanced social category. It's for everyone, every culture, everything. And even it is applicable for all non-human beings, means any kind, any animals or any beast, right? So Prabhupada is quoting from Garuda Purana, Kita Pakshi Mriganam cha Haro Sanyasta Chetasam Urdham Eva Gatim Manye Kim Punar Jnaninam Nunam. So devotional service of the Lord with perfect knowledge through the attaining of of bona fide spirituality, advice for everyone, even if one happens not to be human being, right? So this is Garuda Purana. Like even the worms, birds, beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfection life if they are completely surrendered to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So what to speak of philosopher among the human beings? So if you compare animals versus human, what do you think? What is the difference between them? What do you think? Animals, we have, we have like 8.6 million species. Okay, out of the 8.6 millions, there are 200,000 species of human beings, and remaining are all different kinds of animals, based on their level, okay, different body. So what are the difference between human and non-human beings? Anyone would like to add some points here?
Prabhuji, actually in the animals, there is no extra knowledge or intelligence. But the thing in human beings is that the extra intelligence is coming.
Okay. Yes, that's one valid point. What else we can think about? Is that apart from that, is there any other difference between human and non-human beings?
Prabhuji, actually, we human beings, being us, like we are able to read and write, and we are able to know about the scriptures and stuff. But being animals, they don't have that thing. And to be frank, I mean, don't take me wrong, but animals does all their things on a timely manner except human beings, going to sleep, they do their job 100% what God has assigned, except human beings. I feel like sometimes human beings are the worst this thing can compare to even animals. They know by 6 o'clock or something, all birds go to their nest because it's time to sleep. But now lately with this Kali Yuga, everything is upside down. But the main thing is like human beings are not realizing what God has given what kind of opportunity that God has given to serve Him, but instead of that, they are doing all the unwanted
Yes,
mundane activities, I guess.
yes, very nice points. Exactly, right?
And also animals will not do any more violence than what is needed for their daily
True,
living,
Mataji.
whereas the human being can be the worst animal in terms of violence. Look at all the killing of children and things like that with guns and wars. So human beings can do much more danger than animals.
So
And
true,
they detect anything. They are detached from material things. They just eat whatever God provides them.
Right.
So they cannot do any more karma than what is allotted to them, right?
So there are so
But at the
many
same time,
differences.
but Prabhuji, I could not understand that statement that even if animal can surrender, how can an animal surrender? That's the part I didn't quite understand.
Yes, Mataji. We'll come to that discussion. I'll tell what I understood. So basically, we see that every living entity has 3 dimensions. One is they are on this living human or non, right, any living entity. We see that one is at gross material body, and subtle body, gross body, subtle body, and third one is spiritual entity, spiritual or soul level, right? So every living entity has a 3 dimension. We can think that anyone has life, right, or soul, like life, we say that has 3 dimensions. So we have a subtle body, gross body, and a spiritual entity or spiritual or we can do soul. So if you compare human versus non-human, right, in every level we see the difference, right? If you see like gross body level, we have given the better facility, right? If you say gross body means all karmindriyas, leg, hand, mouth, then mind, okay? Mind will, okay, we'll think about gross body level. So gross also, living human beings has a little better gross bodies, like, because if you see we can do certain things better, but at the same time even animals as something like when you talk about let's say running, okay, animals can run 100 times faster than man, so if you think that in a gross body level we may not find different, both are same. And then we come to the subtle body, mind, intelligent, and ego. So when it comes to mind and ego, right, again we see the difference, right? So problem is that the living entity develops the false ego. That is the problem. So ego is there. Ego means what? Ego means its identity, your identity. What is your real identity called ego? So ego is not a being under being ego, or is not negative, or it's not a problem, but problem is that when we develop the false ego, wrong identity, that is the problem. So living entities, what happens that the human beings, because of their advanced intelligence, consciousness, they are misusing everything they're misusing. And as you all said, animals, they have also conscious, they have also mind, intelligence, and they have also ego. It's not that, but they cannot develop that false ego. they go with instinct. Even if you bring, let's say, the lording over the nature, right? It's only the human beings can do that, because misusing of their free will. Let's say if you put meat in front of cow, can cow eat that? No. Similarly, if you put grass in front of tiger, tiger never eats that. So they are, they go with the instance, whatever they're meant for, and they do that. They do not do anything extra out of their speculation, because they cannot speculate. That's why they're always in a forward direction only. Animals never incur any sinful reaction. Okay, like that. Oh, animal. Any kind of animal does this, that's why the animal will degrade. No, there is no degradation for animal. They will go one life after another life. They keep evolving, because they never incur any karma. They perform their prescribed way of living. That's what they do. So only then coming to the soul, even the soul level is also same. So soul is same, right? Pandita Samadarsina. There is no difference of the soul. Okay, so the difference comes only in the the subtle level, right? The subtle level, subtle body. The human beings are misusing their subtle body, that is mind, intelligent, and false ego. And animal does that, and because of that, the covering, the living entity has a more covering on top of soul, right? The soul is the soul, then comes the subtle body, then comes the gross body. So only difference we see in the subtle level, because of their intelligence, because of their false ego and their mind. The human beings are always going in a wrong direction. They're trying to lord it over, because their consciousness is better. Instead of using the conscious in the right way, they are always biased with the modes of nature, conditioned in the modes of nature, and they fall into the victim, So that is so here. But what here in Garuda Purana, even the worms, birds, and beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfectional life if they are completely surrendered to the transcendental loving service to the Lord. So what to speak of the philosopher among the human beings? So we see many examples, right, of how even animals can elevate. They can surrender. This example, this verse is based on the examples, like we know that in Bharat Maharaj case, right? Think about that. So Bharat Maharaj become deer in his next life, because while leaving his body, he was constantly thinking about the baby deer, because he was thinking, what happens to that baby deer? Well, any tiger may come eat. So he was in that conscious. So next life, he took birth as a deer. But here we remember, what is the difference? Though what I said, only difference makes his subtle body. It out of the 3 dimensions, the gross body doesn't make any difference. Soul never makes any difference. Only difference comes in the subtle level. So in the Bharat Maharaj case, he got a deer body, he got a soul as well, the same soul, right? Soul is eternal. But the difference, what was the difference was, his conscious was not at the animal consciousness. I mean, a deer consciousness. His conscious, or still he was conscious at the Bharat Maharaj he was a pure devotee. His mind intelligent, and ego was at the transcendental level, and he carried forward the same subtle body, on subtle body level. That's why even in the deer body, he could elevate to further, and next life he became Jada Bharat. So that is what it's saying, that even even the worms, bird, and beast are assured for elevation to highest perfection in life if they are completely surrendered onto a transcendental loving service of the Lord. Means, if their consciousness is their mind intelligent and their ego, everything at the transcendental level, then they can become the pure devotee of the Lord. So that is what, this verse says, understanding. So only the conscious is the only matters, like whether we have to go, we will transcend this material world, or we will be again become a victim of this material world, right? Only the consciousness. No, and apart from that, other things, it doesn't matter, the gross body and the soul, because soul is pure, it always, that only the conscious is the one which is always take us with the direction. So that's why how we can make our conscious effective. That is what our movement is, Krishna conscious movement, right? If you think that any other way, there are so many paths, so many movements are there, but they have a different name. But why Prabhupada brought it? It is a Krishna conscious, because the conscious is the only the driving factor. One can go beyond this material world. That's why this conscious, we should make it a Krishna conscious, right? So that is the important, only the subtle level we can improve. And if you improve our subtle level, then rest all will be followed, right? We cannot control at the bodily level, right? Body, every sense, right? If you say that a body is what? It's all material, right? Material body. So how can we control? It's a temporary. Only that soul can be controlled by our conscious. When the conscious is developed, then automatically rest all will fall in right place. The body, our senses, everything, correct? So that is what important, and we need to work on that conscious level, intelligence level, for subtle body level. And so ego means we should not develop the false ego. So that is the whole idea of entire process, of developing our conscious, developing our intelligence. And that is why we do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Always when we work at the conscious level, then automatically that's why, why it says that if you see that karma yoga, Ashtanga yoga, these are all pretty much on the, more towards a body level, bodily working a karma. So you do activities, what do you call it? And yoga, all bodily scripture. Of course, I'm not saying that it doesn't have any benefit. Of course, these are all the paths, authentic paths, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, raja yoga, so many yoga, kriya yoga, So these yogas, but because the involvement of a conscious development is less, and involvement of improving intelligence is less, that's why those paths are not effective path. But bhakti yoga is purely on the conscious level. But bhakti, then what else? Bhakti yoga also involve some of the karma, because we do devotional service. In the devotional service, what we see, through the karma, the more on conscious level, like we are meditating on Krishna's and we are serving the Lord. In that mood we are doing, right? So that is that. So when it comes to conscious level, that's what bhakti yoga is, the ultimate yoga for everyone. So that is what we discussed. I hope, Mataji, I try to answer your question. What is it say, like how the animals can develop?
Yeah, and while you were doing that, I was also thinking that there are so many instances of animals actually surrendering. I mean, of course, we know
Garuda.
of Gajendra and Bharat
Gajendra.
Maharaj
Yes.
being a deer, but they at least we knew
Yes.
specifically that in their past life they had great,
Correct.
sukriti that they brought with them into those animal lives. But I just remembered that in South India, in Guruvayur, there was an elephant who always took the Lord's deity in procession every single day, whatever, once a week or once a month, whatever the procession was. I think almost every day, I think he took the
Yes.
Lord in procession. And then they retired him, I think, from his duty as the elephant became old. And within a few days or something, the elephant was very, very, very restless and started pulling its leg from the chains constantly. So I think the Mahut knew that probably the elephant wanted to go towards the temple. So he took him towards the temple, and he actually offered obeisances to the deities and just died right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Surrendering to the Lord. So how could an animal, an elephant, but because he was so used to doing the service of the Lord, he just could not live without doing the service of the Lord. And even to this day in Guruvayur, that elephant's tusk is right before the dwara, entering the temple sanctum. So you're right that there are instances of actually an animal surrendering to the Lord.
Everything that's conscious, right? That's what is a body and the soul doesn't make big difference, but conscious is that level, that body, the subtle body is the what which makes us elevate, right? So if as you mentioned, the Gajendra case, like say, body is elephant body, soul is the same, but only thing that he was in the conscious of Krishna and he remembered, right?
Right. And even this elephant, probably by carrying the deity every single day, had just become conscious, of serving the Lord,
And I heard another story from our Tirthapad Prabhu, like here in Bangalore, it happens, right? He said that he used to go one of the Iskcon temple. I don't know. There are 3 or 4 temples, like one of the temple he was associated. And once what happened, uh, the one of the cow, right, who escaped from slaughterhouse and ran away from that and came in front of the Iskcon temple and stayed there. He ran and people were chasing or finding like to catch and they came, I mean, they ran away. Then finally they found that, okay, that cow is in front of the temple. They came and they want to take it back to, then the Iskcon people, they didn't allow to do that. They stopped it. No, the cow is here. We don't allow. They said, and they came to know they are from the slaughterhouse. So see how that cow, right, escaped from the slaughterhouse and came exactly in front of his temple and stayed in front of temple and offered obeisances. So that's what even that's very amazing. That Krishna will definitely protect.
I know, and I don't know if you've seen that video. There was a video of Hare Krishna devotees chanting on the street, and this dog, kind of howls, chanting with them, and then a few minutes later, the dog just dies, in front of them. So I'm sure there are some souls who, by some mishap, have taken these animal bodies, but still have, I don't know, some mercy to go back to Godhead.
Yeah. And even in case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we heard, right, when he chants, like all the animals in the Jharkhand,
right. Well,
Jharkhand
that
forest
at least is
started
Krishna
dancing.
himself,
Yeah, dancing in front
what
of
do you
him.
expect? Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it's like.
So there are instances, but of course few and far between. That's why this human body is so precious.
Precious, yes. Because we have a very advanced free will, right? That we can choose ourselves. Animals, they have to go with instinct only, unless until they get external mercy and like this, and they will be elevated. But human has a choice, we have a choice. We can take our decision, right? We can change everything. So why not to utilize in a proper way instead of going in a wrong way, right? So in a purport, Prabhupada said, therefore, there is no need to seek properly qualified candidate for discharging devotional service to the Lord. Let them be either well-behaved or ill-trained. Let them be either learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated soul or desire for salvation. Let them be expert, inexpert, or in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharging devotional service under the proper guidance. This is what comes from in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada, the two quotes, Api Cheto Sudacharo, Bhajate Mam Ananyavad, Sadhureva Samantabhya, Samyak Vyavishito Hisa, Manhi Partha Vyapasritya, Yepi Svipapa Yoniha, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Sudras, Tepi Yanti Param Gati. It's applicable to forever. Means for bhakti, right? We do not need any pre-qualification. That's what it says. Anyone can join and start it. Anyone, any stage, right? But if you see that other path, if you go to the Ashtanga Yoga, it's requires some kind of qualification, right? Not that everyone can perform the Ashtanga Yoga. Even for the Jnana Yoga also, it's required the qualification, pre-qualification. One has to do that. One kind of eligibility is there. In the Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, that's what he said, that when Krishna says or when Arjuna says, I want to go perform the Jnana Yoga, right? He wants to renounce everything and go that. And then Krishna explained, for Jnana Yoga, we need one qualification. One has to be crossed the stage of that what is the stage called, understanding of the Lord. You should come to the stage that only then you can perform Jnana Yoga. Then he said that you are eligible for Jnana Yoga, but you crossed it, but still I want you to perform the Karma Yoga, because you will set the example to rest of the world, right? Perform the prescribed duty. That's why he said. So, but the bhakti, anyone can perform without any qualification at any stage, any point of time. And at any stage we can start, even though we are at a 60s, 70s, 50s, or age of 10, right? And any time, any stage we can start, and it will be benefited. And bhakti, who knows, right? At what stage we left in the previous life. We have seen the cases where we might have left at 90%, and we have at only 10% is there, and whole our 60-year life we did sense gratification, but last 10 years we fully concentrated on bhakti, right? We may go, but that is not something is recommended. But as soon as we don't know, right? We don't know 10%, 20%, that we don't know anything. But as soon as we realize that, okay, this is the perfect, then we should immediately, without any delay, we should start this bhakti process. So yeah, this is what Prabhupada is continuing, and a very elaborated purport we had discussed. And that's what, and again, the Prabhupada is quoting 9.27. So bhakti process is very, very easy process also. Bhakti is not Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, you need to sit for that pose, niyama, all different kind of things. Jnana. If you think comparatively, it's difficult. But bhakti, Krishna doesn't say that. Okay, you need to do this. Do that. Simple thing. He say that do whatever you like. Whatever may be easier for you to do, eat whatever you may eat, sacrifice whatever you can sacrifice, give whatever you may give in the charity, and do whatever you may undertake in penance. But everything must be done for him only, for me only. That is the only thing he's saying. Is right. Someone is fond of music. Oh, do it, sing nicely. Someone is fond of dancing. Do dancing. Whatever you do, it's not a restriction. Bhakti is a open book, right? It's not a bhakti as a okay, only this way. My way is highway. No, everything we can do, but only thing that if you do it from Krishna, tad kurusva madarpanam. It's you do it for as a arpanam, as an offering to me. That is what a bhakti. Yat karosi, yat asnashi, yat juhosi dadati, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tad kurusva madarpanam. That means bhakti is is eligible for everyone. Oh, so someone may not say that, oh, I'm at the age of 70. Wow, how can I do Ashtanga yoga now? Right? Or someone will say that, oh, I have some physical problems. I cannot perform the yoga now. Or I cannot do karma now. I cannot do any kind of activities. So this bhakti process is applicable to everyone. Hey, I don't know reading. Then how can I develop? No, but I have a very good, I have a talent of singing. Wow, even we can use that singing in the service of the Lord. Right? So that means what it says, that it is everyone can perform the bhakti yoga. That is the very beauty of this process. Right? If nothing, if one is not talented in any angle, but he can eat, right? That's what here said. That even if you're eating, offer that to Krishna and eat it. That become a bhakti yoga, right? One is said that I'm a worst, person. I do not have anything to do. do not have any talent. I'm not qualified anything. But at least he said that I can eat. Yes, eat that. Offer prasad to Krishna, offer bhoga to Krishna and eat that. That is also bhakti yoga. Even while eating, we are performing bhakti, right? So that is what this movement, this bhakti yoga is so sweet and easily performed by everyone. Then why people are not following that? Because we do not have a faith. We do not have a desire to do that. And the third point is we are ignorant. We do not have a proper knowledge, understanding. That's why people are not following the process, and they are going with the worldly matter. They're going with the population. They're not going with the acharya. They're going with someone else. Going with the material gain, material attachment. That is what, and they have a very wrong definition of success. So these are the problem, right? So, but what we should do, we know very straight, right? So again, this verse says that we read this verse: akama sarva kamobha moksha kama udaridhi trivena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param. This Sukadev Goswami is telling to Parishit Maharaj, akama sarva kamobha, whatever desire we have, even though we have a desire of moksha, liberation, we have a desire of some kind of sense gratification. We have a desire of some kind of material gain, or we have a desire of pure bhakti. Whatever now, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaridi tribena bhakti yogina. One should perform tribena, very strong bhakti. Tribena bhakti. One should perform trivena bhakti. Then only what yajate purusham param. Then what happens? He will be Purusham Param, he will attain, right, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also then Prabhupada says that one should not worship the different demigods. No need for demigod. If you worshipping Krishna, then rest all demigod will be satisfied. And he's quoting from Skanda Purana. That's why people may say that, you are quoting only Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That means it's a Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam biased Krishna. Tell about some other scripture. So we can tell that Skanda Purana, it says that Archite Deva Deveshe Sanka Chakra Gadadhare Architaha Sarva Devaha Syor Yatha Sarva Gato Hari. That means what? When the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who carries in his hand, a conch shell, a wheel, club, lotus flower is worshipped, certainly all other demigod, Deva Devase, Deva Deva, Deva Devis, other demigods are worshipped automatically because Hari, the personality of Godhead, is all pervading. Therefore, in all cases, name, one should worship it, right? Very clear, right? So why it's not recommended to worship demigod? Demigods can fulfill only the material desires only. If you really want to come to bhakti, then we should come to we should approach Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, right? Vishnu, Supreme Personality Godhead. And at the same time, we are not saying that we should disrespect a demigod. Yes, you can award. If really you want to perform bhakti, yes, ask demigod to show us the path where we can perform the pure bhakti, right? Not for any material gain or sense gratification, right? Then automatically we will be redirected to Krishna. That's what we see. And every one of us, we are here today. Definitely, if you think that we have been worshipping some demigods in the past, and because our intention was pure, that's why we are all ended here in performing the pure Krishna conscious, right? That is what the result. And as I said, that the demigods won't be, if you perform Krishna, then it's not that demigod will be angry or anything like that. People may say that I've seen many people, no, do not want to do that because it will be kind of offense to the demigod. No, it's not offense. Even demigods will be happy, right? That we approach the Supreme Lord. Even all the demigods approach to the same Supreme Lord. That's all we have today. I think this is what we discussed. I covered everything, the purport. Any question or comment?
Prabhuji, Mataji, Alveja Mataji dropped a message in the chat box.
What is that?
I was just saying that Nancy Mataji have dropped a message in the chat box.
Okay. Please accept. How do one know that he clean his heart 45%? Oh, okay. Okay. So first of all, Olivia Mataji, thanks for asking. First of all, basically, in other way, how do you know that how much percentage we progressed in the bhakti, right? So there is no direct measurement of bhakti, but there are many indirect measurement of bhakti. How do you know how much progress? Based on our act. Okay, means see, every one of us has the different anarthas within our body, right? Within ourselves. Anarthas means impurities. So what are those impurities? Like, there are 6 prominent impurities we have. One is pride, greed of everything, lust can be anything, strong desire of getting material things, anger, we become easily anger, attachment, illusion, false ego, right? The wrong identity. These are the symptoms of lack of spiritual advancement. So when we come into the bhakti path and perform the sadhana, regular sadhana, hearing, chanting, and association with the devotee, some devotional service, then what happens? These we will improve in this category. We'll develop the lust, anger, greed, illusion, false ego. These all will slowly get eliminated, or the percentage reduce. We'll improve in that. We become more and more humble, right? And and we won't be at the bodily form. We'll get a true understanding, true. So that is what the measuring criteria. So we can see that how are you getting angry? Are we attached to the spiritual world? Are we hankering for material gain? We have a greed, we have a pride of something, of any success in the, so if you have that, that means we are still in the sadhana level, but we see that we are improving that. No, we can compare ourselves, right? Oh, some 5 years ago or for 10 years ago or 2 years ago, I was so attached to do something. Now I'm not at all interested to do things, but now my interest has been shifted to perform the devotional service, chanting. I'm finding more happy when I chant, or I when I eat a prasadam. I'm not at all interested to eat outside or eat meat. Meat eating, gambling. I'm not at all interested. So these are the criteria which tell us, how far we are in the path of bhakti. So that's what we can count indirectly. That's what I say, Mataji. Hare Krishna. But ultimately, our goal should be, right? Of course, definitely, time and time we have to check these criteria, but ultimately, if we surrender, right, we need not to worry about what percentage we are here, and the goal, everyone will of us got that goal. If you're sincerely performing devotional service. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate. Hare Krishna.
All right. Any other question or comment? All right. Thank you.
There's actually a verse in, I believe, the 11th canto. I only know the part that says Bhakti Paresha Anubhava, that just as a hungry person knows that he's no longer hungry by his hunger being diminished, loss of appetite, and there's certain symptoms that he experiences. A person progressing on the path of bhakti also can recognize that he's becoming less attached. His material desires are fading away, and his attraction to Krishna is growing. I don't know exactly where the verse is, but it's a really nice verse that one can look to for, progress. But you answered it very beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, and happy Nirjala Ekadasi to everyone. So, if possible, spend more time on devotional activities today and observe fasting. Thank you. Let's offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataruvescha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nanta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna, everyone.
Raj Prabhu ki jai.
Krishna Prabhu ki jai.